Before you start preparing polity for 2026 prelims, let me ask you something important. If UPSC repeats the same constitutional themes every year, why do serious aspirants still get confused in the exam hall? Think, think once. It is not because polity is vast. It is because students prepare articles while UPSC tests constitutional equilibrium. From 2014 to 2025, UPSC has not changed themes. It has changed depth. It has changed depth. Federalism, Parliament, fundamental rights, judiciary, same themes, but deeper framing, closer statements, stronger traps. If you are still preparing polity like a static subject, 2026 will feel unpredictable. But if you understand the structure of the constitution, no statement can destabilize you. Today, I will show how UPSC actually thinks in polity using patterns from 2014 to 2025, not predictions, patterns. Stay with me carefully because this will change how you revise polity forever. Hello aspirants, welcome to Metis IAS Academy. I am Niranjan Ankilla, founder and chief mentor at Metis IAS Academy. In this session, we will structurally map the most stable polity themes. In this session, we will structurally map the most stable polity themes. UPSC has repeatedly tested from 2014 to 2025. This is not guesswork. This is PYQ driven constitutional pattern analysis. This is PYQ driven constitutional pattern analysis. PYQ means previous year's questions. Watch this completely. Do not skip sections because polity is not about reading more. It is about thinking clearly. It is about thinking clearly. Let's begin. Every year, serious aspirants ask, Sir, what will come in polity 2026? But that is wrong starting question because UPSC does not reward prediction. UPSC rewards structural understanding. UPSC rewards structural understanding. From 2014 to 2025, one thing is clear. The commission does not randomly pick topics. It revisits constitutional tensions. It revisits institutional balance. It revisits structural design. The names change, the framing changes, but the constitutional core remains the same. So, today we are not predicting, we are mapping patterns. And once you understand those patterns, polity becomes stable. Polity becomes stable. Modern polity questions are statement based, concept driven, institution focused, trap oriented. Earlier, questions were direct. Now, they test equilibrium, not questions direct. Now, not what is Article 19, but what is the constitutional logic behind restrictions? Framing like this: UPSC framing questions like this. Not what is Article 19. Around 2014, 2015 asked like this. Currently 2026, 2025, they are asking like this. What is the constitutional logic behind restrictions? Not like who appoints the governor, but what are the constitutional limits of discretion? This type of framing is they are using currently. That shift is critical from memory to interpretation, from facts to structural clarity. So, if you understand the shift, your preparation changes completely. So, we have to examine few themes. Those are oftenly coming in UPSC, CSC prelims examination. They are repeating again and again, but depth is different, framing is different. So, in this, we are going to examine theme 1, that is federalism. Federalism. Let us begin with federalism. From 2014 to 2025, federal balance appears repeatedly. Distribution of powers, governor's role, legislative lists, physical federalism. Same theme, deeper framing. Now, the trap. The trap is like student assume discretion is absolute, but not. They confuse consultation with concurrence. They treat cooperative federalism as political language, not constitutional design. These are the traps. These are like traps oftenly asking UPSC again and again repeat the same themes. UPSC hides error in balance, error in imbalance. So, if a statement uses words like all, always, absolute, then you must be alert. Why? Elimination in polity is detection of imbalance. Detection of imbalance. Federalism distributes power across levels. Next, we examine how power operates at the union level. Let's we examine number 2, parliamentary procedures. Theme 2, parliamentary procedures. Parliament tests procedural precision, like asking questions on procedural precision, like types of bills, legislative stages, committees, speaker's role, etc. etc. Types of bills like money bills, financial bills, etc. Legislative stages. Next, committees, parliamentary committees like ethics committee, public accounts committee, etc. etc. Next, speaker's role. Sometimes biggest trap is money bill versus finance bill. Students memorize Article 110, but they ignore consequence. Like these are traps set by UPSC. If classified as money bill, Rajya Sabha power reduces. Small procedural distinctions decide marks. Like 2023, they asked money bill characteristics. 2020, they asked parliamentary committees. 2017, types of motions. 2015, legislative process, etc. These type of questions are asking under the same theme, that is parliamentary procedures. UPSC oftenly drops alert parliament, money bills versus financial bill, procedure versus convention, role of speaker, etc. Parliament makes laws, but laws operate within limits, not absolute. So, Those limits are fundamental rights, and we will examine theme 3, that is fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Fundamental rights reflect constitutional balance. Fundamental rights reflect constitutional balance. Rights were restrictions, constitutional balance. Conceptual understanding is most important as far as fundamental rights is concerned for UPSC polity. Few common traps are there, like treating rights as absolute, ignoring reasonable, mixing fundamental rights and legal rights, confusing fundamental rights, and DPSP priority. What is DPSP? Directive Principles of State Policy, etc. In 2021, they asked Article 19 restrictions. In 2019, equality principles. 2017, scope of fundamental rights. 2015, reasonable restrictions logic. These type of questions in the depth and framing, those are differences, but same theme. So you have to focus on themes. That is why again and again we repeat themes. UPSC not unpredictable when you are preparing structurally. Otherwise, it will predict unpredictable. UPSC tests balance, not memorization. Liberty must exist with order. In 2026, prepare proportionally proportionality doctrine and Article 21 expansion are most important conceptual zones. Proportionality doctrine and Article 21 expansion under fundamental rights theme are important conceptual zones for UPSC Prelims 2026 polity. Rights require protection. Protection requires neutral institutions. That is why constitutional bodies came here. Election Commission, Finance Commission, CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General. Always revise. Always revise appointment, removal, tenure, reporting relationship, like appointment of the commission, appointment of the members, removal of the members, removal of the commission, tenure, tenure of the members, tenure of the chairman, reporting relationship, etc. As far as PYQs is concerned, from constitutional bodies, every year they are asking single question, like 2023 election commission powers, 2020 finance commission role, 2017 COG functions, 2014 constitutional versus statutory bodies. Like this, they are asking again and again, repeating questioning from constitutional bodies. So we have to carefully revise. Removal procedures reflects independence. Removal procedures reflects independence. Institutions preserve neutrality. Institutions preserve neutrality. So, but constitutional supremacy is ensured by judiciary. Institutions only preserve neutrality, but constitutional supremacy is ensured by judiciary only. As far as judiciary is concerned, UPSC favorite theme, because they are asking again and again, every year they are asking questions regarding judiciary, like judicial review, basic structure, jurisdiction types, etc. etc. As far as PYQ is concerned, 2022 judicial review concept they have asked, 2019 judicial independence, 2017 Supreme Court jurisdiction, 2015 interpretation principles, They're asking questions direct or indirect, depth, framing is different, but theme is same. So have to focus on judiciary again and again. They set some trap zones like advisory versus original jurisdiction, review versus appeal, writ scope confusion. As far as writ scope confusion is High Court and the Supreme Court writ scope, etc. Judiciary represents constitutional supremacy, but democracy must operate at the grassroots. Democracy must operate at grassroots. As far as grassroots is concerned, we have to examine local governance. That is most important. Democratic decentralization. 73rd and 74th amendments. 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Remember, 29 subjects do not automatically transfer. Like these are questions they are asking again and again. As far as PYQs is concerned, 2021 Panchayati Raj questions, Panchayati Raj functions they have asked, 2016 local bodies powers, 2014 Gram Sabha role. These type of questions they have asked. So you have to understand local governance topic 360-degree angle, and states decide devolution. UPSC tests these type of norms. Finally, a constitutional must adapt. So, so for these, amendment process is most important and most essential. So that is why we have to examine theme number 7 and final theme amendment process. That is constitutional amendment process. Constitutional amendment process is done under Article 368. They are asking types of majority for constitutional amendment: simple majority, special majority with ratification of half states, etc., etc. Basic structure doctrine. These type of questions they have asked. These type of concepts they are touching. Flexibility versus stability. Flexibility and stability coexist, etc. As far as PYQ concerned, 2020 to 2020, they asked amendment procedure. 2018 basic structure doctrine, 2015 amendment powers. Like these are questions, concepts they are asking. So that is why this theme, constitutional amendment, most important. So that is why understanding this coexistence is critical. So focus on concepts, understanding logic, practice statements, practice statements type of questions again and again. Analysis. Analysis most important after the marks have written. So statements based dominance increased. We have to analyze the trend insight. That is statements based dominance increased. Means statement based types of questions asked, increasing the number. Conceptual depth increased. Institutional design is repeatedly tested. Direct recall reduced. Means direct questions they are not asking. If even asking simple one or two questions, not more than that. Elimination skill became decisive. Necessity, need. UPSC rewards clarity, not memorization. Not memorization. Polity is not about remembering 395 articles. It is about understanding constitutional design, build institutional understanding. It about understanding constitutional design. When you understand why power is distributed, why checks exist, why removal procedures are complex, statements become readable. UPSC does not trick serious students, it filters unclear thinking. So, have to practice again and again. Structural thinking, clear thinking, clarity is most important. Think like constitution, think like constitution, not like notes. UPSC always rewards clarity, not memorization. And clarity is trainable. Clarity is trainable. Preparation anxiety comes from prediction obsession. Stability comes from structural clarity. So UPSC preparation is not about predicting every question. It is about understanding the system deeply, deeply enough that any question feels approachable. That type of understanding the system is need of the hour. When clarity replaces anxiety, preparation becomes a study and easily, and that steadiness reflects in the exam hall. So if you deeply revise federal balance, institutional independence, rights versus restrictions, procedure logic, then 2026 will not surprise you. What you have to deeply revise is federal balance, institutional independence of what in constitutional bodies, rights versus restrictions for fundamental rights, procedural logic for what constitutional amendment process. Then 2026 will not surprise you. If you deeply revise federal balance, institutional independence as far as constitutional bodies is concerned, rights versus restrictions, procedure logic, then 2026 will not surprise you. Remember this very careful. UPSC revisits themes, but it deepens the framing. But it deepens framing. If your understanding is deep, you remain steady, and steadiness reflects in the exam hall. That is how polity should be prepared. Calm, structured, precise. Clarity is not talent, it is trained constitutional thinking. Stay consistent. All the very best for UPSC CSC Prelims 2026 as far as polity is concerned. Thank you.